All right, so we have something as equally exciting. This is going to be actually a user demo by, oh, pardon me, Bogdan. I believe you're here today, so please correct me if I mispronounced your name.
Yeah, it's correct.
Is it Bogdan?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right, say hello everybody to Bogdan. He's going to be presenting on the DQG one-click data quality gate on your project. Do you need to for me to stop presenting the screen?
Yep.
Let's do this.
Yeah, can you hear and see my screen? So, could I start here? Okay, sorry. In short, data quality gate is some kind of a Terraform module that allows you by pre-configuring some configs to support your infrastructure and deploy data quality gate based on a great expectation engine for your data sources. With your permission, a couple of words about the team. The product or solution is developed by a small company of 4 people in the spare time for implementation of data quality solutions on client projects. So Alexey Chumagin, I think, a quite well-known person in the Great Expectation community. He's fulfilled role of a designer and product director. Next one, it's me. I'm lead data quality engineer at Provectus, and I deal with some architecture stuff and concept and implementation of new features. So next one is Igor Gorodov, DevOps engineer, who's the person who's responsible for all magic with Terraform and infrastructure, and Oksana Gorbachenko, data quality engineer at Provectus company, responsible for the technical part of the issue of our solution. So a couple of words about the history of this data quality gate framework. It should be said that in Italy, no one planned to make such a long-running and open source project. At first, data quality gate, when it was still called by inappropriate and curious name Fast Data QA, was just an auxiliary tool to help employers quick deploy the infrastructure for implementing data quality on the project. But in spite of everything, the number of projects was increasing, as well as different cases, and it was already hard to version code and belonging to one project, but not to another project in a different branch. So as a result, it was decided to generalize the approach and bring all projects to one view within the name data quality gate. So later, when we realized our competence at Great Expectation could help someone else, we started to actively participate at the community and eventually decided to make the internal project an open source project. So next one, before the block where I have to tell you why you should try our solution, I made a small checklist after which you could make up your mind. So first of all, if you're using AWS cloud where store data or perform calculations. Second one, it's strange to have to talk about it here, but you are using Great Expectation because someone asking us for some another tools and etc. Next one, if you're using capture data change process, it's also for you. Maybe you have a ETL processes or data lake, data warehouses, it's also applicable to ML solution. And if you have some micro-batching or near real-time cases. And to list, it's if you don't want to waste a lot of money for infrastructure and you don't worry about deployment. So you could calculate it after that and understand if it's suitable for you or not. So short description about the architecture stuff. Yeah, data quality gate, how I said, is a Terraform model that enables data engineers and data quality professionals to effortlessly set up the Provectus data quality solution within the infrastructure in a single click. It is AWS based, built on the solid foundation of great expectation and wide data profiling, pandas profiling, I think, and Allure. So here I could explain you what this solution could do. So we firstly read data from various sources, for example, for S3 data lake or a chip data warehouse. Then we profile data not by internal great expectation profiling, but with wide data profiling, because it's more suitable for our cases. It's more flexible, I think. Then we write some custom rule-based algorithm which could generate test on fly, also based on some metrics from wide data profiling, and generate these test suites on a great expectation with JSON files, which will store on a S3, for example. Then we run these tests also, performing all calculation by Lambda, AWS Lambda. Then we saved all these test validation reports, Datadogs also on S3 and hosted. Then we convert great expectation reports to other very famous test report tools in I think, usual IT. So all test engineers know about these tools. It's called Allure, because it looks like more familiar to some managers and etc. So after that, we also stored all metadata about the run to DynamicDB here, and sent some metrics to a CloudWatch and SNS topics. From these sources, you could send some Slack or email messages which you want. So also we, it's not included to our solution yet, but manually we built some quick site dashboards for our clients, which show to our clients the data quality trends about data, and from which we could go through all these three kinds of reports. I remember these profiling reports, great expectation reports for some technical personnel, and Allure reports for some manager stuff. Sorry. Yeah, for now we're working with these packages, but we already working on some updates. So great expectation, not last one, but I think pretty close to last. And wide data profiling, I think it is the last one. Yeah, for which cases you could use it, we already implemented for many successful commercial projects from Provectus, and here I could summarize. It was a healthcare stuff, fintech, retail, and last one it was a MLOps platform. So for all these cases, you could apply our solution with great expectation. And what features we have? It's a first one. It's separate profiling. I think it's useful because it's kind of independent from great expectation, because I prefer to use great expectation more as a data quality engine, not a profiling tool. And for these purposes, we use some separate tool, wide data profiling, which created only for profiling. Yeah. Then we could generate, how I said, I think 12 kind of expectation on fly for now. Also, we have some mapping, okay, manual lineage for ETL testing. For example, if you have some raw data, then transform data and curated data, you could type some information in your JSON configs, and test will apply based on these configs. For example, we could generate test on a raw data without any mapping. Then you could type some mapping about transform. For example, some column name was changed or something like that, you type it into a mapping. So our engine will take this information and regenerate and modify this already generated test for raw stage to a transform stage. So it will be the same great expectation suit, but was changed on fly based on your mapping. So also after all this magic stuff, we could also automation bug creation at Jira for now, but we already work on some GitLab options, etc. So also we already working with various sources and formats, but mostly it's some about AWS stuff because we work in almost all our project almost working only with AWS cloud. So if you talk about sources and format for now is S3, Hoodie, which also, if you know, based on S3 for now, Athena, Redshift, and as a format, it's a Parquet, CSV, and JSON. All these formats and sources already integrated. Yeah, and a couple of words about resources which will be created after configuring our Terraform model. It's a DynamoDB for as a metadata storage, S3 as a quality data quality settings bucket, and it will host your all expectation, data docs, validation, Allure reports, and etc. Step functions as an orchestration, Lambda as a compute engine, SNS and CloudWatch metrics as notification centers from which you could send all necessary messages to your Slack channel or emails. And also, yeah, about our rule-based algorithm, which could generate test on fly. So here you can see kind of expectation what we could generate already. So it's similar that you said, it's unique, not null values, null and not null values, unique. So some checks for duplicates, schema checking, column existing, row counts, column counts, max min values, sets of value, and our last implementation, it was some statistical tests as confidential intervals for mean, median, standard deviation, quantile, and z-score. So also this rule-based algorithm, how I said before, supports some mapping mechanism that you could use this for some ETL testing. And a couple of words about Allure tool. I said before that it's more familiar for some kind of a manager stuff. So it looks like that. It's powered, I think, now by Java, and it's create some packet with HTML page, some JS, and etc. But on the last version, it's just also one HTML page that also very similar to Great Expectation report. So it could be hosted by S3 very easily. And about notification, yeah, how I said before, we have a different kind of outputs as a CloudWatch and SNS topics. And after that, you could configure as you want. And also we could create some Jira bugs at your Jira or at your Atlassian project. Yeah. And a little bit about articles. So we have a lot of different covered cases. So here you can click after, I think, this meetup, if someone shares this presentation, and go through to read some information, how we implement our data quality, not only data quality gate, but I need to remind that it's all based on a great expectation and wide data profiling. And we have some future plans for now. It's we want to create QuickSight dashboard or maybe Grafana already predefined by Terraform model also. Then we want try to change or using of Lambda to Kubernetes. Also want to implement some various sources, some, I don't know, SQL engines and etc., org format, Avro format. So big milestone, it will be a data contracts, because how I see it's a very big problem at the data products for now. And also we want to change Allure to some quarantine tables at, for example, maybe also at DynamoDB, but maybe at Redshift. It depends on which warehouse or databases what are using, and show this quarantine data by also some BI tools such as QuickSight or Grafana. Also, I need to talk about a little bit, maybe, I forgot. About this. So here you could see data flow for one data sources. So step functions allows to you separate all flow, each flow for each data sources. So it will be very independent between them, and you will make some transformation, etc. Also separately. So, and which why it's very cheap and etc. Because Amazon allows you to run 1 billion lambdas per month. So after that, you could understand that it will be almost free runs. So if you using some Airflow tools with AWS, or some Glue or AWS Glue data quality, it will be much cheaper. Or sorry, much expensive than our solution with just step functions with expectation and Lambda. So yeah, I think that's all for now. Here you can see all our contacts and link to our solution here on GitHub, and you could scan also this QR code. Yeah, I think I'm done.
No, this is great, Bogdan. Just curious, are you able to also share that link with us in terms of the presentation?
Yeah, sure. Right now or after presentation?
I think right now would be great. If you can also send it to me offline, I'm happy to also share it to the community as well.
Sure.
But overall, this has been, super exciting work. It's great to see the Allure report as well, very similar to our data docs. In terms of questions, we're happy to take any questions for Bogdan or any other questions that you guys might have for us. Feel free to share it with our Slack. It's not Slack, the message system here, or you guys are able to, welcome to share it right now. So actually, let me just take like a minute. Does anybody have any questions for Bogdan?
Yeah, I do. Can you go back to your architecture diagram?
Yeah, sure. Second.
So result store is, I have a question around. So store and serve results. I believe this is the JSON file right under Allure format, convert to Allure format, right? So you have the two store and serve results, one under Allure format, and this is from the the top one, send metrics to CloudWatch, and the Allure format. So can you explain a little bit more why we have a two store and serve results?
Yeah, because it's two different lambdas. So I mean, all information stored on the one S3, which called, for example, data quality gate settings bucket, which on a different folders. For example, for Great Expectation, it's Great Expectation data docs. For Allure, it's Allure. So because of it, on this diagram we have two action to store, because it's a not parallel flow for each data source, because you need to make all data quality stuff, then save all information about the Great Expectation runs as a HTML page and also JSON files. And then this JSON Great Expectation page sent to our Allure converter which also calculated by computation was made by a lambda, and on this lambda we convert this format and save again Allure format on S3. Yes.
Okay. Push data to DynamoDB. So that DynamoDB, what kind of metadata you store?
We're storing some statistical information about run, so failed, passed, then status, links, and yeah. So it's more about to visualize this information as a trend for data trend. Yeah, and how I said before, for now, we want to save some information about which data was corrupted. Not only this that it was failed only, but we want to save this corrupted data to some quarantine table. If you know some Databricks quality model also made the same thing.
Okay, so this metadata, right? I'm wondering, this could be directly generated from the data docs, it coming out of Allure report. I was wondering any reason why the metadata is generated from the Allure report. It could come from the data doc, right?
It's come for all our action. I mean, profiling, grade expectation, and Allure. So it's not only data docs. Because of it, we send this information after Allure converting.
Okay, thank you. That's all. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Are there any other questions for Bogdan? Or any other questions that it doesn't have to be related to this particular presentation. It can be on anything else related to GX. Okay, I think should be good to go. Okay, so thank you again for Bogdan for that presentation, and thank you for sharing that those slides with us. I think we're going to close off this chapter for this monthly meetup. We're going to give you guys 5 minutes back. Thank you again for coming and joining and being part of this community. Have a great day.